healthy vegan author. So, Christmas is around the corner, and it's time to face up to the non-vegans in your life if you are wanting to celebrate with them and keep it civil. Now, many of the more activist vegans will tell you that this is a really good time for you to be enlightening others to the plight of these suffering animals. In my many years of being a vegan, I have found that arguments one can get into during these times of celebration seem to only get the meat eaters to dig their toes deeper into their meat-eating ways. My approach is a more gentle, non-judgmental one when it comes to joining family and friends for celebrations, be it Christmas, weddings, birthdays, Thanksgiving, etc. I will say this, as a vegan, you always have the right to decline invitations where meat will be served, and you can do so by simply saying, my food choices are made on ethical grounds, and I choose not to sit at a table where slaughtered animals are served as food, especially when there is an abundance of plant foods on offer in this country. You can lighten it up a bit, especially if it's close family, by adding, now you can breathe a sigh of relief that the vegan's not coming. Because I love the meat-eating members of my family and my friends, I choose to put my joy of being with them to the front when it comes to celebrations. And so if this is kind of what you think, then I've put together some rules and some ideas to help you navigate your way through this time. If not, no point in you watching the rest of this video. So let's start with the rules, and I've put down a couple, not many. Number 1, do not bring up anything about veganism. Fairly simple, isn't it? I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Number 2, be respectful of their choices if it is their home that you are going to. And that leads on to number 3, don't say anything about the cooked turkey or the pork or any other meat or animal foods that are laid out on the table. And number 4, only answer questions that come from a place of curiosity, and just laugh off any meat jokes. In other words, don't get sucked into a discussion with someone who is a staunch meat eater. I had an incident just the other day at where I work in the city a couple of days a week, and I work with 6 really nice men. I had been really tired just due to some sleepless nights, and one of the chaps said to me, you know what you need? And like a dummy, I bit and said, oh, what's that? Meat, was his answer. I just laughed and said, oh, walked into that one, didn't I? And continued with my work. I don't hassle my workmates, and they don't hassle me. Those who are curious ask me lots of questions and even have bought a couple of my books. So I'm getting the message out there. So now we'll go on to some ideas. It will depend entirely if you are having Christmas at your place or someone else's. So let's start with you hosting Christmas. This just gives you full control. First thing to tell your guests is that it will be a vegan Christmas, there will be no animal products, and that you trust they will come with an open mind and be happy to try new foods. And remember, it is also their right to decline to come. Tell them that it's just the food that's vegan. You promise there will be no talk about animal rights or veganism unless asked, and that this is a time for family or friends to get together and have some fun. If they want to contribute to the table, excuse me, you can tell them that they can bring anything with vegetables, fruits, grains, nuts, seeds, soy foods, legumes, dark chocolate above 60%, as long as there are no animal products like eggs or dairy added. And all of that would be gratefully received. You know, you can give some examples like a full-on salad with olive oil dressing and no cheese. They can bring some hummus, some guacamole, roasted veggies, as long as it's not done with animal fat. Alternatively, you can get them to bring Christmas crackers or party hats or any other embellishments you want to pretty up the table. As for what you can serve to really make a statement, you can't go past a chestnut and mushroom Wellington. I've made this a few times now. It takes a bit of time, but oh, it is so worth it. The link to the recipe is below. It's one of those main meals that can replace the traditional roast meat, and it's great in either summer or winter. Go online and get other main dishes such as stuffed sweet potato, anything with black beans, whole roasted cauliflower, vegan meatloaf. You know, get creative with the vegetables, have lots of colour, really rich, vibrant colour, so your table looks incredibly festive. Down the centre you can add some mint and thyme, you know, fresh mint and thyme and red and gold ribbons just to jazz it up a bit. Dishes with beets or beetroot and vegan feta. Again, the recipe below for the feta. You know, this is a gorgeous colour combination, and if you add in some baby spinach, you kind of got the green and red of Christmas going. See if you can get purple carrots, just to be different, and have orange capsicums or peppers. I stay away from vegan processed foods and prefer to make my own, so I can't really comment on things like tofurkey. For dessert, there's just so much to choose from, and a really good start is at Simple Vegan Blog, who have 20, excuse me, I've just got a bit of a funny throat, a vegan, so what was the name of the blog? Simple Vegan Blog, and they've got about 20 dessert ideas. Again, I've put the link below. Now, as I live in New Zealand, we have Christmas in summertime, and so it's full-on strawberry season. So I tend to make something with the berries and add lashings of coconut ice cream, and often adding chocolate, of course. Another great source of Christmas food for any time of the day, so breakfast, lunch or dinner, is the Minimalist Baker, link below. I've made a lot of her recipes over the years and never had a failure. So what to do if you are going to a non-vegan's home? The main thing is to talk to the host. Quite often the host gets into a bit of a pickle, wondering what on earth he or she is going to feed you. So this is where you need to set their mind at rest. Tell them that you will bring your own protein part of the meal. Meat eaters seem to get hung up on protein. And you'll bring enough for everyone to share if they want. Now, this is where the Wellington is usually, you know, a primo choice. It's eaten up quite quickly. Or just really anything in pastry happens to go down well. You can offer to bring maybe a vegetable dish such as the stuffed sweet potatoes or a garden salad. You can take along, and make sure to take along some coconut ice cream too for yourself. Ask if they wouldn't mind roasting any vegetables separately to the meat, not in the same pan, and using vegetable oil. Now, this is where it can get a little tricky. Personally, I suggest that you need to lighten up a bit and don't be too pedantic. It doesn't matter if she puts these veggies in their separate dish in the oven at the same time as the turkey. Well, it does, and it's not nice for the vegan, but you will do more for your friendship and your family love if you don't comment. And you will find they will really appreciate your consideration and will be more inclined next time round to accommodate your needs. So I want you to remember this is their home, so show respect. I am fortunate that my immediate family are happy to eat and prepare vegan. They all do most of the time. One is vegan. One is kind of a vegan plus, as I call it, because she will sometimes have eggs. And the third one is, mainly vegan, but, goes flexitarian every so often. So I don't really have the issues, but I have been to extended family who are meat eaters. And because in the past I have done exactly what I have just said, they now go out of their way to get extra vegan things in, making a point to tell me. And it's things like, Auntie Fee, that mayo is vegan. I mean, it's, bless them. It does make for a much more harmonious and loving celebration. And now it's time for the wee bonus fact. Turkeys, the main Christmas meat, are raised just the same as chickens. They are hatched in hatchling sheds where I really am losing my words at the moment. But they're hatched in hatchling sheds. And, they huddle close to the heat lamps for warmth because there's no mama there. When they're old enough, they're transferred into large windowless barns, just to kind of eat their way to being the right size. Because turkeys can be aggressive, most will have parts of their toes and beaks cut off, and this is done without anaesthetic. In 1970, the average turkey weighed 17 pounds. Now it's 28 pounds. They are genetically modified and controlled to grow quickly, just the same as chickens. They're killed at around 10 months old, yet they can live in the wild for around 10 years, so they're killed as babies. And they are killed by dunking their heads into electrified water, then having their throats cut. Then they're put into scalding water for defeathering. Now, sadly, some birds are still alive at this point and so are scalded to death. There are over 680 million turkeys killed every year for meat, with the most being around Thanksgiving and Christmas. But please remember not to bring this up when you see the turkey on the table. These facts are for the times people show genuine curiosity. I'm thinking that next week I'm going to talk a little about why I believe people think the way they think. I hope that's given you some food for thought. That's it for today. Remember, have great food, make it whole plant-based, and be compassionate to all animals, including the humans you'll be spending Christmas with. Bye for now.